When I tell you that God is about to reload your bank account, I do not speak as someone offering empty encouragement. I speak as someone declaring a spiritual reality that is already in motion. Listen carefully, because this moment is not ordinary. This moment is divine. This moment has been orchestrated by God long before you even felt the pressure, long before you felt the lack, long before you stared at the balance in your account and wondered how you would survive the next month. God saw it. God heard every private prayer. God measured every silent tear. And now God is preparing to shift you into a realm of provision that your mind cannot fully grasp today. You may think this is just another message, but I assure you it is your personal prophetic announcement. Something invisible is moving in your favor, and your life is about to witness a financial transformation that will silence every fear that ever tried to intimidate you. There are moments in life when God steps into your story with such force that everything resisting you trembles. This is one of those moments you have been carrying burdens that were too heavy for one person to bear, yet God kept you standing. You survived days when your heart felt crushed and nights when your thoughts consumed you. You survived anxiety, scarcity, disappointments, delays, and people who never believed in you. And because you endured, God is preparing a release that will shock even you. God is about to write a chapter in your life that will prove you were never forgotten, you were never abandoned, you were never disqualified. God simply hid you until the time was right to reveal what has been prepared for you. Some of you have been living with the weight of financial pressure for so long that it feels normal. You've normalized the struggle. Normalize stretching every currency note. Normalize checking your account twice, hoping it magically increased. Normalize silence when your heart wanted to scream. But hear me, carrying the weight of financial hardship was never meant to define your identity. It was meant to define your dependence on God. It was meant to shape your character, sharpen your faith, and stretch your trust. You have been trained in the fire so you can handle the blessing when it arrives. God does not give big blessings to unprepared hands. God strengthens the vessel before releasing abundance. And now you have reached the moment where your capacity has outgrown your circumstance. That means blessing is near. When God says your bank account will be reloaded, it does not mean a simple increase. It means a divine reset. It means God is restoring what was lost, replacing what was stolen, and multiplying what was delayed. Some of you lost money in ways you still do not understand. Opportunities slipped away, investments collapsed, people who promised support never delivered. Unexpected bills consumed your savings. Plans you thought would lift you financially were interrupted before they even began. Yet none of it was wasted. God took inventory of every financial wound, and every loss has been recorded in the ledger of heaven. Nothing skipped God's attention. Nothing will go uncompensated. When God reloads, it comes with interest from the unseen realm. It comes with restoration attached. It comes with a spiritual compensation package that no earthly system can deny you. You may look at your life and think God has been silent regarding your finances, but silence from God is not absence from God. Silence is strategy. Silence means preparation. Silence means God is lining things up behind the scenes, adjusting details, shifting environments, and setting divine appointments. God's silence is never empty. It is full of motion. It is full of intention. God has been preparing a blessing that aligns perfectly with your purpose, your timing, and your future. And when the timing of God meets the readiness of your spirit, a financial breakthrough becomes inevitable. Nothing can stop it. No enemy can block it. No circumstance can delay it. When God releases, it arrives with unstoppable force. You have to understand that God does not bless randomly. God blesses strategically. There is a pattern to divine provision, and part of that pattern involves pressure. You felt pressured not because you were forsaken, but because you were being positioned. Pressure creates clarity. Pressure reveals what you truly trust. Pressure removes what is not meant to go with you into the next season. Pressure forces your spirit to lean on God more than your understanding. Some of the greatest financial blessings God releases come after the most difficult seasons of financial testing. The test was developing the discipline required for the blessing. The storm was shaping the mindset required for your next level. And the scarcity was training your spirit to rely on God alone. Now that the training has done its work, God is about to respond with abundance. Many people think abundance begins with money, but abundance begins in the spirit. Before God fills your account, God fills your faith. Before God multiplies your income, God multiplies your expectation. Before God releases external provision, God strengthens your internal capacity to receive. You are stepping into a moment where your spirit is aligning with your blessing. Your faith has been stretched. Your endurance has been built. Your perseverance has been tested. You have prayed, waited, survived, and grown. You have outlasted situations designed to break you. Now you are spiritually positioned to receive what you could not have handled before. God does not release abundance to fragile faith. God releases abundance to believers who have been fortified through fire. Some of you are not even aware of the doors God is about to open for you. Because when God reactivates financial flow, it rarely comes from only one source. God opens unexpected channels. God orchestrates divine connections. God brings opportunities you did not apply for, ideas you did not plan, favor you did not anticipate. God bypasses human systems and introduces you to spiritual supply lines that produce results no economy can block. You may think money only comes through your job, your business, your skill, or your network, but when God steps in, limitations break. God is not restricted to earthly pathways. God can bring increase from places you never considered. God can use one idea to fund your entire future. God can use one connection to shift your whole financial reality. God can use one moment to reverse years of struggle. You must prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for the shift that is coming. Because when God reloads your bank account, it won't just be for your comfort, it will be for your calling. God blesses with purpose. God does not empower you financially just to elevate your lifestyle. God empowers you to elevate your destiny. The resources coming to you are connected to your assignment. You will have the means to do what God placed in your heart long ago. Dreams you paused will come alive again. Plans you delayed will gain momentum. Responsibilities you couldn't fulfill before will now be handled with ease because God is equipping you for the next dimension of your life. Many of you have vision that exceeds your provision, and that imbalance has frustrated you. You see big, you think big, you dream big, yet your bank account has not reflected the magnitude of what God placed in your spirit. But understand this. God always gives vision before provision. God plants desire before delivering the resources. The dream is the sign that the blessing is coming. Your spirit saw the future before your finances caught up. And now your finances are about to align with what God already showed your heart. The resources will match the revelation. The supply will match the assignment. The provision will match the purpose. You must not allow your current balance to dictate your future expectation. Your account today is not your account tomorrow. Your situation today is not your situation next month. God can transform a financial landscape in ways that defy logic and reasoning. You have seen people rise financially overnight, not because of luck, but because of divine orchestration. What God did for others is evidence of what God can do for you. You are not exempt from the blessing. You are not excluded from abundance. You are not outside the reach of divine provision. God's hand is not limited, and God's resources are not scarce. God owns what you need and more. And when God decides it is time, the release is undeniable. There is a spiritual principle you must hold on to with everything in you. God does not leave a faithful person empty-handed forever. When a person has walked through deserts, God brings them to rivers. When a person has endured drought, God brings them rain. When a person has remained steadfast in times of scarcity, God rewards them with overflowing provision. You have been faithful. You have kept going even when it made no sense. You trusted God with nothing in your hand, and now God is about to trust you with something in your hand. God honors persistence. God rewards endurance. God responds to unwavering faith. You did not give up. That alone qualifies you for a blessing. And now, as God prepares to reload your bank account, something greater is happening within you. Your mindset is transforming. Your confidence is strengthening. Your faith is maturing. You are beginning to understand that provision is not the result of human effort. It is the result of divine alignment. When your spirit aligns with God's timing, breakthroughs unfold naturally. You do not have to chase what God has already assigned to you. You do not have to beg for what God already promised. You do not have to force what God has already prepared. You only have to position yourself to receive, and the blessing comes towards you with its own momentum. This is why you must stay in expectation. Expectation is a spiritual magnet. When you expect increase, you attract increase. When you expect opportunity, you recognize opportunity. When you expect financial elevation, your actions, decisions, mindset, and atmosphere shift to match what God is preparing. Expectation activates the flow of provision. It opens the door for God to move in ways you have never seen before. Step into this next season with bold expectation, and you will witness the financial expansion God has ordained for you. And now, open your spirit in faith, because your financial story is about to change with the power of God guiding every step. And when I tell you that God is about to reload your bank account, I am not speaking about a temporary uplift or a momentary financial spark. I am speaking about a sustained flow, an ongoing divine current, where God turns what was once dry land into fertile ground, and what was once emptiness into overflowing abundance. There are seasons when God does not just add to your life, God restructures it. God does not simply upgrade your finances. God elevates your entire identity, your confidence, your vision, and your capacity to receive. And I need you to understand this. Before God releases abundance around you, God releases abundance within you. You are becoming the vessel that can hold more. You are becoming the person who can manage more. You are becoming the steward who can multiply what is placed in your hands. God's financial blessing begins in your spirit long before it reaches your account. Right now, God is reshaping the way you think about resources. God is removing the fear that made you shrink, the doubt that made you hesitate, the hesitation that made you miss opportunities, and the insecurity that made you question your worthiness to receive. You were never meant to live with a mindset of scarcity. Scarcity does not come from God. Scarcity comes from wounds, experiences, disappointments, and moments where life made you feel like you had to fight just to survive. But God is replacing that psychology with a mindset of faith. God is rewiring your thinking to understand that provision is not earned through fear. It is received through trust. God is not limited by the same boundaries that limit people. God is not contained by the economic systems that contain the world. God is not restricted by the seasons that restrict the environment. God can create abundance in the darkest moments, in the lowest places, in the most unexpected circumstances. You may not realize this, but everything you have walked through financially has been part of a training process. God was teaching you not to rely on temporary supply, but on eternal source. People can support you today and disappear tomorrow. Income can rise one season and fall in another. Opportunities can come with excitement and fade without warning. But God remains, God stays, God sustains. When you anchor your trust in God, you do not crumble when conditions shift. You do not break when circumstances tighten. You do not panic when numbers dip. You stand firm because you know that God is not governed by numbers. God is governed by promise, and a promise from God is stronger than any bank account, any financial report, any economic forecast, and any projection spoken over your life. Some of you have been living in survival mode for so long that you forgot what it feels like to breathe freely. You forgot what it feels like to rest without worrying about what tomorrow will demand. You forgot what it feels like to imagine a future that is not defined by limitation. You forgot what it feels like to dream without calculating if you can afford it. But let me tell you, God is about to restore that freedom. God is about to give you financial space. God is about to give you room to breathe again. God is about to give you margin, capacity, and overflow. When God reloads your bank account, God does not restore you to where you used to be. God moves you into a higher level that reflects your endurance, your faith, and your growth. And understand this deeply. When God decides to elevate your finances, the purpose is larger than comfort. God's provision comes with intention. God blesses you because there are things God wants to accomplish through you. You are not being lifted just so you can enjoy comfort. You are being lifted so you can fulfill a divine assignment. There are places you are meant to go, responsibilities you are meant to carry, people you are meant to support, visions you are meant to fund, and missions you are meant to bring to life. Money in your life is not just a tool for survival. It is a tool for destiny. It is a tool for expansion. It is a tool for impact. It is a tool for influence. God is not blessing you randomly. God is blessing you purposefully. There is a transformation happening inside you that you may not fully perceive yet. God is strengthening your spirit so that when the financial blessing arrives, you won't collapse under its weight. Many people pray for increase but lack the character to manage it. They desire promotion but do not have the discipline to sustain it. They ask for abundance, yet their mindset cannot handle the responsibility that abundance requires. But you have been through refining. You have been through stretching. You have been through seasons where you learn to be faithful with little. And because of that, you are being entrusted with more. God saw the quiet moments when you chose integrity over convenience. God saw the days when you gave generously even when you barely had enough for yourself. God saw how you stayed humble when life tempted you to become bitter. And God is now responding to that silent obedience. Many people don't realize this, but obedience is currency in the spiritual realm. Faith is currency. Patience is currency. Sacrifice is currency. Endurance is currency. These invisible currencies pull divine provision toward you. You may think you don't deserve a financial breakthrough because you look at your career, your skills, or your past decisions. But God does not evaluate your future based on your failures. God evaluates your future based on your heart, and your heart has remained sincere even in scarcity. Your heart has remained trusting even in uncertainty. Your heart has remained open even when your circumstances tried to shut it down. That is why God is preparing to elevate you financially. Not because you earned it with perfection, but because you honor God with sincerity. When God reintroduces abundance into your life, it will not come with confusion. It will come with clarity. It will come with peace. It will come with discernment. You will know exactly where to direct it, exactly where to sow it, exactly where to invest it, exactly where to avoid placing it. God is not simply sending money. God is sending wisdom alongside the money. God is sending clarity alongside the open doors. God is sending discernment alongside the opportunities. What good is financial overflow without the wisdom to manage it? What good is abundance without direction? What good is increase without understanding? That is why God prepares your spirit before God prepares your accounts. You may begin to notice that certain ideas start rising in your mind in the coming days. These are not random thoughts. They are spiritual signals. God is planting ideas that will produce increase. God is awakening creativity you did not know was inside you. God is reminding you of dreams you buried because you thought you could no longer afford them. God is stirring new pathways, new collaborations, new strategies, new insights. Pay attention. When God prepares to shift your financial reality, one of the first signs is spiritual ideas. Ideas that feel too big for your current income, but perfectly aligned with your future abundance. Ideas that make your heart race. Ideas that feel like destiny knocking on your door. And hear this, when God releases financial blessing, it will not require you to compromise who you are. You will not have to beg. You will not have to manipulate. You will not have to betray your principles. You will not have to sacrifice your integrity. You will not have to dilute your values. The opportunity that comes from God will come with peace. It will come with alignment. It will come with favor that feels effortless, because God is the one pushing it into your life. What is from God comes with rest, not chaos. And the financial increase that God is preparing for you will be marked by a sense of divine ease, not laziness, but alignment. Where your effort meets God's orchestration, success becomes unavoidable. You are stepping into a season where what used to be difficult will become manageable, and what used to be impossible will become achievable. You will look back at your earlier struggles and realize they were necessary chapters in your story. You needed those chapters to develop strength. You needed those chapters to develop humility. You needed those chapters to learn how to rely on God rather than relying on circumstance. Every delay trained your focus. Every setback sharpened your discernment. Every trial taught you the resilience you will need when abundance arrives. God was not punishing you. God was preparing you. And hear me clearly, your time of preparation is coming to an end, and your time of manifestation is beginning. God is not waiting anymore. God is moving. God is opening the windows of abundance. God is loosening what was tied up. God is multiplying what was stagnant. God is activating what was dormant. God is rebalancing what was uneven. God is lifting what was heavy. God is bringing breakthroughs that will feel sudden, but in reality, they were slow built through every moment of your faithfulness. You are about to experience a divine turnaround. Not a small comfort, not a temporary relief, a full-scale spiritual turnaround that transforms your financial reality from dryness to overflow. And when it happens, you will know with absolute certainty that it was God, because it will surpass anything you could have produced through your own limited strength. It will be bigger, deeper, wider, and more strategic than anything you could have planned. And there will come a moment very soon when you will look back on this exact season of your life and realize that everything God withheld, everything God delayed, everything God rearranged was preparing the foundation for a greater financial structure than you were ready to build before. When God blesses, God does not bless in fragments. God blesses in fullness. God ensures the ground is strong enough to hold the weight of what is coming. You may have questioned why certain opportunities collapsed, why certain connections drifted away, why certain plans didn't unfold the way you expected. But now you will begin to understand God was not closing doors to limit you. God was closing doors to protect you from entering rooms where your spirit, your finances, and your peace would have been compromised. God was redirecting you toward a more stable, more fruitful, more divinely aligned path. There is something sacred about endurance. When a person endures financial hardship, their spirit learns how to rise beyond numbers. Their identity detaches from their circumstances. They discover a part of themselves that cannot be shaken by lack. They learn how to depend on God in a way that becomes unbreakable. This is why you cannot minimize your journey. You cannot dismiss the nights you prayed with a trembling voice. You cannot forget the mornings you woke up wondering how you would get through the day. You cannot overlook the decisions you made when your heart felt heavy and your resources were thin. Every moment of survival strengthened a spiritual muscle inside you. And now those muscles are about to carry abundance instead of burden. God is not blessing you because you are lucky. God is blessing you because you are ready. Ready in maturity, ready in wisdom, ready in discipline, ready in responsibility, ready in faith. The person you were 5 years ago, 3 years ago, or even 1 year ago would not have been able to manage what God is about to release. You would have mishandled it, wasted it, misdirected it, or shared it with people who did not deserve access to your blessing. God waited until your character caught up with your calling. God waited until your spirit reached a level where increase would not destroy you. God waited until you outgrew the version of yourself that could not handle elevation. And now elevation is coming because you have grown into the person who can sustain it. There is an energy in your life right now that is shifting. You may feel it. A sense of anticipation, a quiet inner confidence, a subtle knowing that something is approaching. That is not your imagination. That is spiritual alignment. When God begins to move resources in your direction, your spirit senses it before your eyes see it. You begin to feel a lifting, a breaking of internal resistance, a loosening of old fears. You begin to notice that conversations around you shift. Opportunities start reappearing, and favor begins to circle your environment. These are early signs that God has already started the financial reloading process. Some of you will experience this in surprising ways. God may give you a sudden idea that solves a problem you've been battling for years. God may send a person into your life who becomes a connector to a life-changing opportunity. God may lead you to a decision that feels minor, but ends up producing massive results. God may open doors you didn't even know existed. And when it happens, it will feel as though every step was designed long before you arrived, because it was. God's orchestration is perfect. God's timing is impeccable. God's precision is miraculous. Do not be surprised if God removes certain people from your financial journey in this next season. Not because you are meant to walk alone, but because you are meant to walk wisely. Some people are not equipped to handle the version of you that is emerging. They cannot celebrate your abundance because their hearts are anchored in jealousy or insecurity. They cannot support your elevation because your growth exposes their comfort with stagnation. They cannot walk into your new season because they are still tied to old cycles. So God will separate you, not to isolate you, but to protect you. Blessing requires boundary. Abundance requires discernment. Elevation requires clarity about who can and cannot accompany you into the next dimension of your life. And as God prepares to increase your finances, God is also increasing your inner stability. Wealth without emotional stability becomes a trap. Blessing without spiritual grounding becomes a burden. Increase without identity becomes a battlefield. But you are not stepping into abundance as a fragile soul. You are stepping into abundance as a strengthened spirit. You are stepping into increase with the maturity that lack built into you. You are stepping into overflow with the resilience that hardship sharpened in you. You are stepping into financial freedom with the wisdom that scarcity forced you to learn. There is a moment known only to God when a person's season shifts. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not come with fanfare. It begins in the unseen realm and gradually manifests in the physical world. That moment is approaching you. You have been walking through what felt like an endless tunnel, and now the first rays of light are breaking through. You have been carrying the weight of responsibility, and now God is sending reinforcement. You have been pushing through barriers that felt immovable, and now God is about to make those barriers dissolve with a single act of divine intervention. You must understand this spiritual truth. When God releases financial blessing, it is rarely a random occurrence. It is usually the manifestation of seeds you planted long before. Seeds of perseverance, seeds of faith, seeds of sacrifice, seeds of trust, seeds of integrity, seeds of patience, seeds that you forgot about but God didn't. Every tear you shed in silence watered the seed. Every time you chose righteousness over shortcuts watered a seed. Every time you gave without expecting anything in return watered the seed. Every moment you trusted God when circumstances looked impossible watered the seed. And now those seeds are breaking through the ground. The harvest always comes later than the planting, but it always comes, and your harvest is on the way. And hear this with the full force of your spirit. God is not about to simply refill what was emptied. God is about to exceed what was emptied. God is about to multiply what was lost. God is about to restore what seemed gone forever. When God reloads your bank account, it is not a withdrawal replacement. It is a divine overflow that pushes you into a new dimension of security, stability, and freedom. You will begin to experience financial flow where there was once stagnation. You will begin to experience opportunities where there were once obstacles. You will begin to experience clarity where there was once confusion. You will begin to experience elevation where there was once limitation. You will begin to experience favor where there was once frustration, because what God is doing in your life now is not small. It is significant. It is transformative. It is destiny defining. So now hear this with unwavering certainty. God is faithful. God is just, and God is actively orchestrating every detail of your life for your good. The season of lack, delay, and uncertainty is coming to a close. Your bank account, your opportunities, your financial reality are about to be reloaded, not by chance, not by luck, but by the perfect intentional hand of God. Everything you have endured, the long nights of worry, the days of struggle, the moments when it felt as if the weight of the world was on your shoulders, were not wasted. They were refining you, preparing you, positioning you for the breakthrough that is now at your doorstep. Rise in unwavering faith. Expect the unexpected. Step boldly into the overflow that God has promised, knowing that every provision is designed for your growth, your purpose, and your destiny. Receive it with gratitude, manage it with wisdom, and channel it toward the mission God has placed in your heart. Understand this: your breakthrough will not only change your life, it will impact the lives of others around you, amplify your influence, and glorify God's provision. The abundance that is coming is not temporary, it is transformative, it is powerful, it is deliberate. Your blessing is here, your breakthrough is imminent, and God, in His perfect timing and infinite wisdom, is gloriously faithful to fulfill it. So now, hear this with absolute clarity and deep conviction. God is faithful beyond measure. God is just in all His ways, and God is meticulously orchestrating every detail of your life for your ultimate good. The season of struggle, scarcity, and delay is drawing to a close. Your bank account, your opportunities, your financial reality are about to be reloaded, not by coincidence, not by luck, not by human effort, but by the sovereign, deliberate hand of God. Every hardship you have faced, every sleepless night, every moment of anxiety, every tear you shed in silence, every disappointment, every time you were overlooked or undervalued, they were all part of God's divine preparation. God was not absent. God was positioning you. God was not punishing. God was perfecting you. And now the time for breakthrough has arrived. Rise in unshakable faith. Expect the unexpected. Step boldly into the overflow that God has promised, knowing that this is not a random blessing, it is a strategic release that aligns with your purpose, your calling, and the assignment God has placed in your life. Receive it with gratitude, manage it with wisdom, and use it to amplify your impact and fulfill the mission that only you can accomplish. The abundance that is coming will not just solve temporary needs, it will transform your lifestyle, elevate your influence, and expand your capacity to bless others. Your provision is both personal and prophetic. Do not underestimate what God is about to do. What you have prayed for, what you have believed for, what you have patiently endured, God is now bringing it into manifestation in ways that exceed your imagination. Doors that seem permanently closed are swinging open. Opportunities that felt impossible are aligning perfectly. Resources that were once out of reach are now flowing directly into your life. This is a divine reloading, a supernatural refilling, a manifestation of God's perfect timing and divine favor. Stand ready to receive it with faith. Guard your heart, embrace wisdom, and walk in integrity, for God's blessings always accompany responsibility and discernment. The breakthrough is not just about money. It is about restoration. It is about purpose. It is about the elevation of your life to a level that matches your faith, your perseverance, and your destiny. Know this: your season of waiting is over. Your season of provision is here. Your bank account, your opportunities, your destiny are about to be reloaded with God's abundance, and the world will witness the testimony of what happens when God moves on behalf of a faithful life. Rejoice, prepare, and position yourself. Because God's faithfulness never fails, God's timing is perfect, and the best is now coming to you.